Howdy y'all, I'm Mr. B and you're watching my tip talk on topic 2.2, the Mongols and the making of the modern world. As always, use this video and the others like it to myelinate some neurons so that you can have thick and chunky brain vomit, which you can regurgitate out onto your LEQ and DBQ, maybe get another point or two on the exam. Also, there's this great new invention called the internet, where when you type in mrb.world, you can find more help like key terms, important people, maps, videos, other resources. And that'll help you go Mongol warrior on your AP World History work. Also, share this video with people you think would benefit from it and follow me. But also with this video, watch to the end because I have a book series that I think you should check out. It's a really good book series, so wait for it. So, we saw the Silk Road in the last video. We're going to see the Indian Ocean trade and Trans-Saharan trade networks in the next 2 units, and we have to keep this essential question in mind. How did the exchange of goods and ideas impact the development of states in this time period? So to answer that question, we're going to take a little random detour into the Empire of the Mongols. What even needs to be said about them? I mean, seriously, thanks for watching. No, I'm just kidding. The Mongols, nomadic, awesome, warriors, yurts, Genghis Khan, awesome, largest land empire in history, drinking fermented mare's milk. The Mongols had a major impact, one of the most important impacts on politics, economy, society, culture, technology, innovation in world history. So giddy up, let's ride into battle against the AP exam, and I promise I'm not going to catapult bubonic plague bodies over the walls of your ignorance. Politically, they were known for their military organization and their tactics. Their army was organized into units that helped them coordinate attacks and change tactics really quickly. This was really beneficial on the battlefield. And they also used psychological warfare to intimidate enemies without surrendering, into surrendering without a fight. Like they would catapult dead bodies over the walls of the towns they were trying to conquer. And they also had impressive battlefield techniques to destroy enemies, including faking a retreat only so the enemy would run after them and then fall right into a trap. So as a result of this, they ended up with the largest land empire ever in history. But they had to run it somehow, right? So after conquering a territory, they would appoint trusted leaders to govern kind of as a mini Khan, and that person would be responsible for maintaining order and collecting taxes and tribute on behalf of the Mongols. So eventually what we see is these Khanates are organized into 4 main regions: the Golden Horde in Russia, Chagatai Khanate in Central Asia, the Ilkhanate in Persia, and the Yuan dynasty in China. They also used regional governors who collected the taxes and maintained the order within the regions. And those governors reported to higher level officials who reported to the Khan, who was the ultimate authority. They also moved people around the empire based on their expertise and the needs of the empire. So, for example, they used administrators and ministers from the Muslim world to handle government affairs throughout the empire, especially with tax collection. They essentially established a system of meritocracy in which people were appointed to positions of power based on their abilities rather than on their social status or family connections. So as a result, they were able to govern a really huge empire that spanned multiple regions and cultures by adapting to local customs and traditions while maintaining that centralized system of governance with the Khan at the top. And this was also aided by the Yam system, which they implemented, which was kind of like caravanserai, but it used 50,000 horses to transport messages across the empire. So that really facilitated communication across a large area. Economically, they facilitated trade by providing security along trade routes. They established safe conduct passes that merchants could use to travel freely without fear of being attacked or robbed. So they protected and supported merchants, and the trade that happened as a result is the biggest thing to remember here. Trade flourished around the empire. Socially, Mongols were known for religious tolerance, and they allowed different religions to coexist within the empire. This led to the spread of Buddhism, Islam, Christianity throughout the empire, and it also facilitated cultural exchange because they're so connected. They would bring Chinese artisans and engineers into Central Asia to help build cities and infrastructure, but unfortunately, socially, they also had an impact by spreading the bubonic plague. So that's kind of a big deal. But as far as the cultural impact goes, the Mongols, they brought Persian scholars to China to help translate texts into Chinese. They connected different regions, which resulted in the flourishing of art and literature. There was the transfer of Greco-Islamic medical knowledge throughout the empire, but also to Western Europe, as one example. And during their conquests, they came into contact with these Islamic scholars who had preserved ancient Greek texts on medicine, which that knowledge was then transferred to Western Europe through trade networks where it had a major impact on medical practice. The transfer of numbering systems from South Asia through all the way to Europe was another example that was facilitated by them. The numbering system that we use today is based on Arabic numerals that were introduced through trade networks in this time period. So that's because of this interconnectivity that the Mongols helped maintain and facilitate. The adoption of the Uyghur script by the Mongols was another example. This Uyghur script, was used by many people in Central Asia and became like a governmental tool for communication across linguistic barriers during this period. So technologically, they had a major impact on transportation technologies, like using caravans for transportation, development of saddles for camels. That's all 2.1 we've seen before, and we're going to see again in 2.4. The Mongols facilitated the spread of gunpowder from China to Europe, which led to development of better firearms and the altering of warfare forever. So overall, the Mongols had a massive impact on politics, economics, society, culture, technology, their military tactics, the government organization, facilitation of trade, cultural exchange, religious tolerance, transportation technologies, spread of gunpowder, spread of the bubonic plague. There's a reason AP World History course starts with the Mongols. They changed life across 3 continents. And it can be said that they are the reason we have the world today that we live in. How do we answer that essential question? How did the exchange of goods and ideas impact the development of states in the period 1200 to 1450? Well, the Mongols played a major role, as we see. They restored and protected interregional trade between Asia, the Middle East, Africa, and Europe. They incorporated new technology, new weapons. They incorporated the cultures of the people they conquered. Basically, think of the Pax Mongolica, the Mongol peace. That's the impact that they had. So this unit, it highlights the impact that they had because of these technological, cultural transfers through trade networks. But also there were the negative impacts, like destruction and exploitation, and the epidemic diseases like the bubonic plague, the impact that had on populations. But that's the Mongols in a nutshell. But if you can't get enough of them, like me, I highly recommend the Conqueror series of books by Khan Golden. It's a historical fiction that tells the stories of the Mongols from the rise of Genghis Khan through Kublai Khan. It's a really fun book series to read. It's also rooted in history, so you might learn something out of it, even though it's fictionalized. So seriously, check it out and check out the rest of my videos. Make sure you follow.